Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be the narcissist needs what they don't have. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So this is what the narcissist wants. They want things that they don't possess, such as love, empathy, commitment, fortitude, togetherness, growth, abundance. What the narcissist wants is they want to capture people and keep them stuck in that narcissistic fog as long as they can. They want to slowly extract all the resources. Now, I've said that for so many videos. This is never more true today than it was in the past, because the narcissist is hollow, they're shallow. These people are cowards and they're bullies, and they do know what they're doing. The narcissist wants people to continue to give them more and more chances to change, to improve. They want to continue to look at people as weak, as pawns, as puppets, as a way to empathize or to weaponize their empathy against them. You see, the narcissist wants what they don't have. Let's talk about love for a minute. You probably were in love with the narcissist, or you loved the narcissist. Maybe it was your adult sibling, or maybe it was your parent, or maybe it was a romantic relationship, or whomever it was. Well, you realized over time that something wasn't changing, which was that person. The narcissist hides in plain sight, and they continue to play on your heartstrings and your ability to love. This is what they've been doing when you first met them. It's what they were doing when they discarded you or when you ended it, and it's what they're doing right now. The narcissist does not possess love. They can fake love. They can fake caring. They can fake empathy. They can shed crocodile tears. They can blend in with the general public, and they can act like they are everybody else. They're commonplace. Well, that's not what they are at their core. What they are master manipulators. They are snake oil salespeople. They are people who want to disrupt other people's energy, and they want what they don't have. So love is one example. Another one is empathy. You are a kind, loving, stable, empathetic person, most likely. And that means you have the ability to put yourself in another person's shoes. And you can feel their energy if they're sad or if there's something you can do for them, and you want the betterment of humanity and you want to help people out. That's not what the narcissist wants. What they want to do is they want to abandon people at their lowest point. They want to destroy people's hopes, dreams, aspirations. They want to drive wedges between people and anything that matters to the target, which was you, and it certainly was me. Because the narcissist does not want anybody to ever do better than them. They don't want every person or anybody to rise through the ashes like a phoenix and put themselves back together. That's why when the relationship ended, what happened with you, most likely, is you were discarded, or you were being treated worse and worse over time, and maybe you removed yourself from the relationship. Either way you cut it, if you go back in time and look at the body of that relationship, it got worse over time. It deteriorated. So it doesn't matter if you were with this toxic person a month, 5 months, a year, 10, 20, your lifetime. If you really go back in time, their behaviors were getting worse and worse and worse. And you were doing more and more and more for them. You were putting out all the fires that they were starting intentionally. And what you also were doing is you were giving them passes, and you were turning a blind eye. You were not trusting your instincts. You were not paying attention to the red flags. You were not trusting your intuition. And you were in a place called the trauma bond. You were in a place that you didn't even know existed. You now understand so much more than you didn't know before. Again, you weren't taught this in school, so now you're realizing what certain key terms are in the narcissistic abusive cycle, in the glossary. You know what the definitions are, and you're coupling those with your real life experience, and yes, that does equal wisdom. Now, many times during videos, I repeat the same catchphrases and taglines over and over and over again. And the reason why I do that is because the more videos you consume, the more light bulb moments you will receive. The more light bulb moments you will receive, the more you will realize that that relationship was actually much worse than you thought it was, and that the narcissist wanted to capture you, your beautiful, bright, shining light, and everything abundant and positive about you. And they wanted to extinguish you and it, meaning they didn't want you to ever elevate. They didn't want you to heal. They didn't want you to put yourself back together. They did not want you to find that needle in a haystack. But that's what you've done, or that's what you're doing, or that's what you're about to do. So repetition is necessary on the healing path. We all need reminders. We all need to remember who we were before we met the narcissist, who we became when we were in that relationship, and who we either are now or we are striving to reach to become. Now, having said all those things, remember there are 3 versions of you. There's the first version of you before you met the narcissist, and that's a very naive person, a gullible person, a person who probably was a people pleaser and did not know about narcissism. Second version of you is who you were when you were in the relationship. That's when you were captured and you were existing in that devaluation stage, and you were trying to put out all the fires that the narcissist started to destroy you in that relationship. But again, you didn't know that there was such a thing as the love bomb, as the devaluation stage, as the discard, and as a Hoover. You didn't know that the narcissistic abusive cycle existed, but now you do. And the third version of you is the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. It's rarefied air. There are not as many people where I am as I would like to be, but each and every day more and more people are arriving at that mountaintop. They're arriving at that pinnacle of indifference because they put themselves back together. They've had the sleepless nights. They've processed things. They've realized that the narcissist never cared about them. The narcissist simply used them as a tool to get from one point of their life to the next point. And once they got whatever they wanted and that person's resources were defunct or diminished or gone, just like mine, then you're thrown away, crumbled up like a sheet of paper and dumped on the freeway. And you are left to fend for yourself because that person who turned out to be the toxic narcissist, they abandon you at your lowest point. They abandon you when the chips were down. They abandon you when your fuel tank was empty. This is why the narcissist wants what they don't have. It's why they look for what they don't have. Now, we talked about love and I talked about empathy. Another thing is commitment and honesty and growth. The narcissist never wanted to grow with you. They didn't want to be honest because they aren't honest, and they didn't want to be committed because they're never committed to anybody. And you may say, well, I was living with them for 5, 10, 20 years. I actually married them. I have children with them. I get it. I understand all of it. Point being is, as time wore on, that relationship fizzled out. And the more that relationship that you were in lengthened, you were being punished more and more and more. That's why you were experiencing stonewalling, the silent treatment, triangulation, rage fits, verbal abuse. You were being given the silent treatment and you were being blamed for anything, blame shifted. Now again, I want to share this. You didn't know what you know now. And back then you had excuses because you weren't taught this in school. Now you realize that actually the person that perhaps you fell in love with actually had disdain for you. They didn't care about you. They wanted to finish you off. They did not want you to ever accomplish things. They didn't want you to rise through the ashes like a phoenix, put yourself back together and heal. And they did their best to impede your progress. That's why when these relationships end, they usually end with a thud, a crash, and a bang. And they usually come out of left field. And you're usually in a very, very dark place, vulnerable place. Example, maybe it was during a very challenging period of time a few years ago. One of the most challenging periods of time for my life and many other people's lives. If you can read between the lines, you know what period of time I'm talking about. Maybe it was when you just lost your job. Maybe it's when you just came down with a health concern. Maybe it's when you just lost a loved one in your family. Who knows what it was, but something pivotal happened, and that's when the narcissist took advantage to discard you or to twist the knife in deeper and deeper. You see, they want what they don't have, and what they didn't have, or what they did have when they were with you, was you and your commitment and your fortitude and your growth and your honesty. The narcissist possesses none of those. What they will do is wear a mask to manipulate you and to manipulate anybody they possibly can to keep people believing in them, that they can change, they will change, they do love you, they do care about you, they did have such a rough childhood and it's not their fault. Well, think about this. The narcissist, do they ever take responsibility for anything? No, they don't. They will steal the limelight. They will steal your misery. They will steal your discomfort, meaning, let's say that you came down with the flu or you were sick or something. Well, would the narcissist be there to put you back to health? Probably not. What they would probably do is disappear and say, hey, call me in a few days when you get better. I'll be thinking about you. And they probably wouldn't even say the last part. Or maybe they would come down with some phantom illness and they would beat your illness. You were legitimately sick, but they acted like they were because they want to steal what you actually were going through. You see, the narcissist needs all the attention. They need all the focus. And when you're in the relationship, you don't know what you're up against because you can't wrap your head around someone that you fell in love with or cared about. Maybe it's your adult sibling or maybe it's your sibling that they actually did not want to help you out. Think about when you were with them. Think about how many things went misplaced. How many times you would lose your keys. How many times you couldn't find your favorite pair of shoes. What happened to your favorite t-shirt? What happened to the book you loved? What happened to that heirloom that was passed down to you? What happened to the gift that was given to you by somebody else? Things went missing when you were in that relationship. Tangible assets, tangible things, gifts. So many things were missing because why? It wasn't just bad luck. It's the narcissist was breaking things or destroying them or hiding them. Because the narcissist hides in plain sight. And when you were living with them, they hid everything they possibly could from you. That's why so frequently you would be putting things back in the same spot in the house. Maybe the keys, they would be on a ashtray or something, or a tray. And you would look and, hey, have you seen the keys? No, I have no idea where they are. Well, that is a person disrupting your energy, taking the keys, hiding them somewhere else, watching you run around the house for 10, 20, 30 minutes, then miraculously putting the keys back in the tray and saying they've been there the whole time. What are you talking about? Well, that is gaslighting. That is abuse. That's ruining your day. It's stealing your energy. And this is what the narcissist does. They want to top up with people's supply. They want to control people's emotions. They want people to regulate them. They need the unpaid helper. They need the sounding board. They need the walking apology. They need the walking ATM. This is what the narcissist does, and it's what they've always been doing, because they want what they don't have, which is love, empathy, commitment, which is growth. Think about what I'm sharing with you. You may say, well, I know the narcissist, and maybe it's a friend, and they've been married 10, 20, 30 years, and they seem to be doing great. Well, not everything is out how it appears to be. Remember, everybody reveals themselves in time. I have, you have, the narcissist will also. And you're not in that house in the four walls when they are peppering their spouse, well, like they've been doing for 10, 20, 30 years. No one ever sees that. And if they've been married that long, there's a very good chance that either the person they married is so beaten down that they're just subservient and they can't even have a voice, or B, maybe they're toxic themselves. I can't tell you, but what I can tell you is you don't know what takes place in people's lives when you're not with them. And many times, even when you are with them, you don't know what takes place. Think about it when you were in the relationship with that person. You could be sitting right there on the couch with them. You could be on an airplane. You could be at lunch or dinner with them. Were they physically there with you? Yeah, they probably were. But were they mentally there? Probably not. They were probably on their tablet or their iPad or one of their 3 smartphones. And they were probably checking in on your replacement, i.e. the new supply or supplies, because this is what these people do. They are loyal to nobody. They care about nobody. They use people as pawns and puppets and indentured servants to springboard their life to the next level. And they never think they're gonna get caught. They never think people will see behind the mask. They never think people will put 2 and 2 together. But again, that's what you've done and that's what you're processing. So many times people will say to me, I can't understand how these people continue to do this, and they don't ever atone for it. They never are accountable, and they never ever change. The reason why is because they have no love within them. They have no empathy. There's a huge void within them. It's a huge pit that must be filled, and it's filled by other people, i.e. supply sources. That pit was filled by you for a period of time. It's no longer being filled by you, but it will be filled by somebody, because this is what these people do. They don't think the way you think. They don't behave the way you behave. They don't care about people the way you care about people. And they don't have what you have, which is why you were targeted, which is why you were looked at as an opportunity, which is why they knew who you were way before you knew who you were. Bear this in mind before I close the video. These people, before you have the wisdom, they know exactly who you are way before you knew who you were. And you may say, well, no, I knew who I was. Well, you really didn't, and I can prove it. Because if you did, you would have realized what the person was doing to you. It turned out to be the narcissist, but you didn't have that wisdom because you didn't actually know that there were different kinds of people on the planet, which means you didn't know who you were back then. I was the same way. It's not until you get the wisdom post-relationship and you put yourself back together, you dust yourself off by the bootstraps and you realize, wow, there are so many different kinds of people on the planet, and there are so many good people, and there are a lot of negative people. And at the top of the negative list is the toxic narcissistic individual. That's a person who just wants to crush people, to keep people stuck, to keep people wasting their time, wasting their purpose, and wasting their fulfillment. And this is what these people have been doing, but you didn't know it back then. Now you do. So you may have said, yeah, I knew who I was before I met the narcissist. I can't agree. You didn't. If you did, you wouldn't have entered that relationship. I wouldn't have either. Because the narcissist did not hand you that 2-page report and say, look, this is who I am. This is what I've done to many people before you. It's what I'm going to do to you. And when I'm done getting whatever I want from you, I'm going to do it again to other people for the rest of my life. They never handed you that sheet of paper or those sheets of paper. So you didn't know what you know now. And you didn't know who you were. You may think you did, but you didn't. I didn't either. But now that you've healed or you're healing, now you can see who people are. You can use your discernment. You can realize what you have is rare. What you possess is something that no one can take from you ever again. And you were born with these attributes. You were born with the beauty. You were born with the abundance. And you were born with the positive energy. And you've maintained it the whole time. because the toxic narcissist wanted to turn you inside out and twist you upside down, and they wanted you to turn you into them, which is a negative person. Didn't happen though, because you're here and you're getting your cup full and you're moving forward and you're understanding that in fact you are stronger than you ever knew possible. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love y'all. God bless you. I love y'all. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. And remember, the narcissist wants what they don't have. And once they get what they want, they don't want it any longer. When I say that, what I mean is when they get somebody sunken into the trauma bond or the narcissistic fog, then they don't have to work. They just slowly remove themselves from that relationship. They're not as available. They care less and less. They show you how little they care about you and the relationship, because they're grooming other people while they're keeping you stuck on the hook. That's why you need to break the cycle. That's why you need to be the generational curse breaker. And you need to go no contact as soon as you possibly can. If not now, when? Love y'all. God bless you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.